Hey everyone, it's Bria from GiveSendGo.com, and today I'm going to share with you one of our Hope Hotline voicemail responses.
Hi,
Ladies and gentlemen, each and every year, Whispering Ponies Ranch, Skywatch TV's charitable ministry, ministers to precious children and young people from all across the country who've suffered horrific physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. Many are the victims of sex trafficking, forced prostitution, the foster care system. Some are malnourished as a result of neglect, and so much more. The children experience rest, rehabilitation, and hope through the love of Jesus Christ. And it's all possible because of the support of partners just like you. Today, after 2.5 long years in production, we have an update for you on the forthcoming docuseries, Rescue Us, that details how this vitally needed intervention takes place. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Skywatch TV. I'm Joe Artis Horn. If you missed last week's program, go back wherever you watch Skywatch TV and make sure that you catch up a little bit here. We revealed some excerpts from the forthcoming docuseries, Rescue Us, and we began to tease why this massive series that now resides in what is probably going to be very close to 8 hours, right, Brittany?
Right.
The executive director, Brittany Jackson, is here. And I'm joined by several other staff members and team members from Skywatch TV and Whispering Ponies Ranch, not the least of which is my beautiful mother and founder of Whispering Ponies Ranch, Miss Juanita Horn. Last week we spent just a moment detailing just a fragment of how heavy the Rescue Us series begins over what is probably the first 3 hours. Moving into the fourth episode, though, however, things begin to kind of switch gears. This is where you start to get to know both of my parents, Dr. Thomas Horn, my mother, Juanita Horn, so that you understand what is behind their heart when then we get into the reasons that they founded Whispering Ponies Ranch, and then a look at Whispering Ponies Ranch that I promise you, even for those that have followed this ministry for years and have seen all of our ranch updates, I promise you, what you see in Rescue Us is a look at the ranch unlike you have ever experienced before. The vision behind the way we filmed at Whispering Ponies Ranch during summer seasons, behind the scenes, in the off seasons, down to the cleaning of the stalls and the maintenancing of the leather apparatus required to running the program. It's behind the scenes. You're traveling with both of my parents, the people that manage over different departments, the animal encounter experience with Kate Taylor Horn. It's a look at what is done there like never before, and we wanted you, the viewer, the member of our Skywatch family, to get to experience what it's like to be there as closely as humanly possible without actually being present there on the ground. Nita, in this program, I want to talk about Samantha Orr, because as the viewer is going to learn just momentarily, which again is just a snapshot of her more than 3-hour interview that was chopped down for the Rescue Us series, but also will be available when this all comes out as a standalone video project where you get her whole entire testimony starting from literally childhood, up through when she was finally at the moment of her Jesus Christ encounter at a Royal Family Kids Camp, very much like the ones we run constantly at Whispering Ponies Ranch. But she was one of the worst cases in documented history in Springfield, Missouri, not too far from where we're actually filming this program. The abuse physically, emotionally, sexually was catastrophic, and it began at a very young age. And this is an oversimplification and a total delusion in this episode of her story. But the abuse that she suffered is very much consistent with the abuse that many of the children that come to Whispering Ponies Ranch have experienced prior to their arrival, that we are now trying prayerfully and strategically to help them detangle, sort through, and be rehabilitated from. Isn't that right?
Yes. Some of these little kids that come and visit the ranch, you can see it in their faces and you can see it on their bodies.
Right.
Their arms, scars. Some of them, they're fresh. Some
Right.
of them have healed over because it's a repeat
Right.
abuse.
Yeah.
These little children, they're so precious. They love the ranch. It's their place. They get to come where they find love for an entire week.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they leave, they start the countdown until it happens again.
Right.
And when it comes to the end, when they are graduating out, they cry like babies. They hug us.
I know.
They don't want to leave.
I know. A lot of the counselors and our staff, my brother-in-law, James Howell, who is critical to what happens
Yes.
at Whispering Ponies Ranch. He's one of the main constructs there that makes the program possible to happen. He has to wear often sunglasses
Yes.
on Friday
He does.
because he's trying to be happy for the children and leave them with a message, you'll be back, we'll see you again.
Yeah.
But you can't really know the answer to that because once they're gone, it's beyond
You
our
never
control.
see them again.
We're not permitted to follow up an email exchange and to visit them. And
No.
you see what I'm saying? So this thing with Samantha Orr, though, the abuse that she went through, Brittany, it made it to the newspapers. This was
Right.
this was a national conversation when she was a child. I mean,
Yeah.
this was a broadly publicized event that was discovered retroactively once she finally got out from the circumstances of her abuse.
Yeah, and an important thing to note about the excerpt you guys are getting ready to watch is this isn't even the worst of her story, and it's already really hard to listen to. We had to find a clip that was safe for TV and for social media, but it's brutal listening to her story. The good thing about her story, though, as you'll see later on in this episode, is there was hope for her. That wasn't the end of her story.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to show you excerpts from two different spots in her part of Rescue Us. And she was so brave. I was there when she gave her interview, and I came home and I told my wife, I said, in totally plutonic fashion, I just wanted to give her a hug. There's something about me being a father that just, listening to what was being done to her as a child, there's something about it that if you're a person who wants justice right now in real time, you want to take it upon yourself to go fix this.
Right.
And fortunately for her, Jesus Christ gets to be the hero.
Yes.
And she was eventually adopted by Dr. Jean Orr, who ironically was someone she had met through Royal Family
Yes.
Kids prior to the adoption.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Talk
Isn't that
about how God
wonderful?
works
Don't
these
you
things
love
out,
that?
right? So this first excerpt from the Rescue Us series is just a snapshot at some of what Samantha Orr was dealing with as a child before she had her Jesus Christ encounter. Watch this.
If you're looking at an overview of my childhood, besides just the day in, day out beatings, other memories I have are I was 5 years old. I was standing on a step stool doing dishes because I couldn't reach the sink. And my mom was mad that I wasn't doing them fast enough. She walked over. She had picked up one of the steak knives that I had already cleaned. And my hand was resting on the counter. And she just shoved it through my hand and just walked away. Didn't say anything. Didn't do anything. And I'm just standing there. And I look down. And there's a little bit of blood. But I know, if I pull this out, there's going to be more blood. But I was I can't stop doing dishes. So I had to pull the knife out of my own hand. And I cleaned the knife with my left hand. And put it back. And then I just got paper towels and wrapped my hand. And just kept going. And that was just when I was 5. When I was 7, we were in another house. And I was in the kitchen. And at this time, I think I was just like walking through the kitchen, and there had been a cookie sheet out on the countertop. My mom was mad about something, and she walked into the kitchen, saw me, saw the pan, so she picked up the cookie sheet and just kind of like frisbeed it across the kitchen. And when she yelled my name, I like turned to her, and at that time it like hit me right in the head. So I have a scar, it's like a crescent shape, on my forehead, and I passed out immediately. And I woke up laying on the carpet. I remember looking, when I woke up, my eyes were at the ceiling. The fan was going, and I heard the TV on, and I heard voices. So like I sat up, and like I felt my head, because like the last thing I remember, I was like getting hit. And so there was like a bandage around my head, and my mom had stepped into the room. She was like, hey, like you probably need to rest for a little while. You can eat those grapes in that bowl, and then like when you're feeling better, you need to go clean up the kitchen. There's no like, I'm sorry. There's no like, how are you feeling? It was just like, rest a little while longer and then go clean up the mess. Well, the mess was the blood that was pouring from my head. I went into the kitchen and I had to clean up that own mess. So another memory is all of the kids are brushing their teeth. And I was like, can I brush my teeth? My mom was like, no. I was like, why not? And she's like, well, actually you can. And so she got a toothbrush from underneath the sink. But instead of using toothbrush, she had gotten the liquid hand soap from the countertop and like squirted that onto my toothbrush and had me brush my teeth using that. And I couldn't give her the satisfaction of like letting her know like that made me feel awful. So like I just like brushed my teeth. And I think the second time I asked her if I could have toothpaste, and she's like, no, only my kids get that. I was like, okay. So she's like, so do you want the hand soap? I was like, no, I'm good. I don't think I need to brush my teeth.
Welcome back to Skywatch TV. I know that some of that is difficult to watch and to comprehend, which is why the series would be incomplete without what is coming after that. The series, again, it deals with the duality of both projecting the dilemma that children are dealing with today in the foster care system, many of them slipping through the system without a trace, without a paper trail, with no chain of custody, no whereabouts. The FBI just simply categorizing these children as runaway. We're talking about small children, too small to literally run away. But it's what they do when they have no explanation as to where these children have gone. And that's something that Wayne Tesh talked about, the founder of Royal Family Kids. He talked about in this series. Many of these kids are abducted. Not all of them are as fortunate as Samantha to have an experience where someone at some juncture intervenes, which you'll get to see in the Rescue Us series. And it is for those children whose names the world will never know that is at the forefront of our motivation to put a series out like Rescue Us that does highlight the difficult to deal with aspects of our culture. These are the aspects that a lot of people, they're just uncomfortable by. And I hate to sound judgmental, but most of the entertainment-based church today is not doing anything at all, or they themselves have no idea about what's going on in this country. And I've often prayed to the Lord. I've said, Lord, were you to awaken the commercialized giga numbers of dollars and church members, etc., awaken them to these needs and get into the hearts of those who actually are there to be persuaded and molded. Think of the powerful army that could come out of that movement were they to become aware of what is in something like Rescue Us, which is, by the way, again, why we're putting this out. I am praying that God will fundamentally use the Rescue Us series to transform Skywatch TV as a ministry. I'm asking God for the international attention, something viral, because these videos are being suppressed. These conversations are being suppressed. It's really difficult to get the masses out there to even realize that projects like this have been produced and are now available for your consumption. But I'm asking God to use Rescue Us to change the conversation in this country, to put at the forefront of what we're focused on as a nation. If we really want America to be great again, let's start with our children, right?
Absolutely.
We need people in Congress, we need people in churches, we need people of every kind of local persuasion, people from the pulpit, people active in your communities. We need them to see rescue us. The second half of the series, though, begins to illuminate what happens when God interrupts these malevolent plans. For those that have never seen one of our ranch updates, Kate is our animal encounter specialist at Whispering Ponies Ranch, and she has everything in the world to do with why some of these critters, whose species types I have to ask her again, this is a goat. She's got so many little critters, and it's really adorable because when you drive through the ranch, a lot of these you would expect them to be in round pens or something, and she's just got, they're almost like chickens or dogs. Goats are running past the car. Wait a minute, what? Have they escaped? No. They know that they're safe. And they know the sound of her voice.
Yes,
and
they
she's got some tricks. She can bring them back into the arena if she needs to.
Yeah.
There's no incentive for running off into the wild blue yonder. Whispering Ponies Ranch is the place to be. These animals, though, serve a critical role. For those that are unfamiliar with how animals are used in terms of intervention, very therapeutically, to help broaden the scope of conversations in children that are shut down emotionally, spiritually. When these kids arrive at Whispering Ponies Ranch, especially if it's their very first year, many of them say very little. They don't trust. They're shut down. They're skeptical of everything. The last time they heard an adult say, I love you, something right before or after followed that was catastrophically horrible. So you can't even use the normal phraseology to try to reach these children. Hey, you're special. No, wait a minute. Wait, hang on. So we're very guarded. Trigger words. We're very guarded in what we do in terms of how we communicate very gently. Animals that are loving in nature have a way of communicating with these children. They may not talk to their counselor, but they'll ask their counselor questions about an animal that they know inherently has no malevolent agenda behind this interaction that's taking place, and it opens dialogue for communication. The next thing you know, very early on in most of these children's cases at Whispering Ponies Ranch, they are now just a day or two in talking with their counselors. Now rehabilitation considered.
Exactly.
So there's a psychological reason why these animals are here. They are adorable. They are fun to pet, but they are absolutely there strategically, right, Kate?
Absolutely. They tend to help kids, break down that barrier that is very hard to actually reach. The counselors are constantly all week trying to, find little things throughout the week to be able to connect with them. And I think animals are a great way to reach the kids because animals, they don't have opinions they're pushing or agendas. They're just happy little critters with no agenda, no extra opinions. And the kids really do pick up on that.
One thing that's important to understand about the experiences that happen at camp is that it might seem to some people like, well, they're playing with animals or they're riding on a zip line or they're climbing a climbing wall. They're having a lot of fun, but how does that translate into them healing? That when a child experiences affection from a place that has no agenda, like these little critters, and when a child gets to the top of the zip line platform and looks down and goes, oh, I can't, and then they sit there for a minute and then they do. And they realize, even when I'm scared, yes, I can. And then they stand at the bottom of a rock wall and they look up and they go, I don't know if I can. And then they do. And they get to the top and ring that bell. And everybody on the floor is clapping and making this good job, insert name here. You did it. Good job. They take all of those feelings of, I can be loved. I can conquer my fears. I can overcome adversity. Do you see where this is going? And it generalizes out within their psyche somewhere to other things in their future. So when they're looking at something scary, maybe I can overcome this.
Right.
When they're looking at a situation where they are inevitably going to be abused, maybe it could be different. All of a sudden, this new voice in their head begins to awaken,
Right.
going, maybe life doesn't have to be the way it always was. Oh, and while we're at it, maybe that savior I heard about also cares about me.
That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you a clip that I think you're going to fall completely in love with. And it's an excerpt from the Rescue Us series when Samantha Orr begins to describe her encounter with Jesus Christ at a Royal Family Kids Camp. Watch this.
I had gone from being in my abusive home with my parents for 4.5 years to being in foster care now for about 5 months. But I didn't know how much my life was truly going to change within 5 days. And so Monday morning comes, and my grandma gets us in the car, and she just drops us off at our church. And then eventually they got us all on a bus, and we're driving. Eventually the bus stops, and we're there, and these adults are wearing the same color of shirt. They're jumping up and down. They look so excited. So we get off the bus, and this lady walks up to me. She's like, "Hi, Samantha, I'm your counselor. You're going to be with me for the week." I was like, "Okay." So she brings me over to kind of our cabin. So she's introducing the other girls. And we go inside the church, and people were just talking, and they start singing songs. And I'm kind of just looking around, waiting for something bad to happen. At my first foster placement, I was comfortable there, but I was always on edge. Not sure, am I going home the next day, or is something going to happen? And now I'm at this thing called camp, and I don't really know what's happening. And so we go through some activities. We go to our cabin. We go to dinner. I was like, cool, dinner. I get free meal. And, like, we don't have to clean up or anything. I was like, all right, this is kind of nice. I don't have to, like, do any chores yet. We go to bed, and then on Tuesday, people are still excited. As we're going through our activities, we're at an activity center, and so we're building something. And these older kids are talking about a birthday party. I kind of perk up because I was like, what do you mean birthday party? My birthday was never celebrated. Like, I wasn't someone that they wanted to be like, so glad you're alive. And I think I asked my counselor, like, what's a birthday party? She was like, well, like, we'll have some games, we'll have activities, we'll have gifts. I was like, oh, no. Besides the gifts, I don't give gifts. And she didn't push it, but I knew she was kind of like, weird, but move along. And we are doing music, and then we're off to dinner. And at dinner, we have our meal, and then they start bringing out gifts. And there's one placed in front of me. And I was like, that's not right. My mom doesn't want me to have one. And so I kind of pushed it back to my counselor. So she sat between me and the other girl in our group. And I kind of pushed that towards her. And she's like, no, this gift is for you. She took my hand and took the bag and was like, let's go sit down and talk. And all the girls are opening their bags, and they're excited. They're not even paying attention. And so she has our container here, and she's taking out the toys. So the Play-Doh, the slime container, the coloring book, crayons. She's pulling out all of these items, and it's like, someone wanted you to have these because your birthday is special. You should be celebrated. These are words I've never heard before. And so eventually she pulls on a teddy bear. And for an 8-year-old, normal 8-year-olds probably have had several teddy bears or a lot of teddy bears in their life. And this is my first teddy bear. And there's no tag on it. There's no price on it. But I thought teddy bears were expensive because I was like, I never got one. And my siblings didn't really have teddy bears. They had some baby dolls or some Barbie dolls, but like that was kind of it. And so my counselor's like, somebody wanted you to have, this is for you. It's for Samantha. She used my name. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, maybe I can be normal. Maybe I'm a normal kid. Maybe I do deserve birthday gifts and can be celebrated. And maybe these people here actually care, and they do love me, and they want me to be safe. And all it took was 5-10 minutes of a counselor's, dedication to sit with me and take the time to be like, this was meant for you. And instantly camp changed for me. I started questioning, what's our next activity? I wanted to do everything. We go outside and we have this birthday party. I was having fun. I started to lower my guard and trust people. after Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I was up ready to, like, let's go. There was no, like, I want to stay in bed. I'm like, let's go swimming. Let's go do the activities. Let's go play the games. Let's even go sing the songs and listen to these stories in the play. And camp kind of was my safe haven. It was where I felt normal. And I was like, I have a friend. Like, I have a teddy bear and I have a friend. And when I go home, like, I have memories and I can be like, I know what a normal kid is like. And so Friday we do our songs and whatnot, and they're like, okay, we're gonna load the bus, and they hand us memory books, pictures.
그 얘네가 지금 축소했다가
I mean, I don't remember pictures of me being taken growing up. The only last time I had pictures taken was when police were
이게
in our
니네가
house.
자동으로 옛날부터
So these pictures are of me playing and having fun and swimming and doing activities.
니네가 말로 정리해서
I have something to prove that this is real. Like this, I didn't dream it up. This wasn't some imaginary thing. This is proof that I had fun.
What did I tell you? What happens when Jesus interrupts the plans of the malevolent, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we see testimonies just like the one that you saw just now every single hour at Whispering Ponies Ranch, and we could not do it if it were not for the support of viewers, partners, and Skywatch family members just like you. As increases have more than quadrupled in some cases over the last few years, we have depended more and more on your support than ever before. And if you believe in what's happening at Whispering Ponies Ranch and Skywatch Television, which is integral to making people aware of the needs at Whispering Ponies Ranch, we would love for you to partner with us. If you would love to prayerfully support our ministry, that is absolutely welcome. It's one of the most important things that we could ask for you to do. It doesn't matter where you live. If you're a person of means, it doesn't matter your age, demographic. If you can pray for this ministry, we covet those prayers because there are forces out there that are suppressing the information. They hate the fact that children find their way to Jesus. We stand in the middle of that to intervene for these little children. So we're asking for your prayers to keep our staff and our families safe as they come and go at the camp. But also, if you want to support us financially, you can visit skywatchtv.com. There's a link at the top of the website where you can support us in whatever way you possibly can. And again, we thank you in advance for that support because without you, we would not be able to do what we do at Whispering Ponies Ranch. And I want to mention something that I failed to mention last week, and that is we've never charged Royal Family Kids or Teen Reach or any of these ministries that we serve a dime.
And we also do some of their training.
We do some of their training for them. We provide all of the meals, all of the staff, all of the amenities. And ladies and gentlemen, it's the cost of the chlorine for the swimming pool. It's the food service. It's the veterinary bills that come in because of all the animals we have.
That's right.
It's a lot of responsibility, but we do it at no expense to these children or their ministries, Royal Family Kids, Teen Reach, because of the support that we get from you and because it is our commitment to do everything we can to remove financial obligation as an obstacle from some of these ministries who have let us know that spending time tenuring and the laborious nature of trying to fundraise to underwrite kids in the past has absolutely meant they've had slots where a child could have come but did not have the money. Ladies and gentlemen, every time you support Skywatch TV and Whispering Ponies Ranch, you're removing that obstacle, and it means that children get to go to camp and have their Jesus encounter.
I would just like to add to that in all of what you've said may seem like an awful lot, but I'm looking at that one individual child. There's many of them that come and go, but that one individual child, like Samantha, who now is doing the same thing and reaching many, many children that she has
No,
that have
that's
suffered
right.
her sin.
She is a walking testimony, the evidence that this program
One person.
works.
Boom.
One
Absolutely.
person.
That's awesome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we're all out of time this week, but for everybody here in studio, everybody here on panel, I'm Joe Artis Horn. Keep your eyes on the prize, which is Jesus Christ. We'll be back.